I guess you might think I'm a pretty good grandpa. Got lots of stories to tell, and I wouldn't be lying. Done some high flying, I've been down in the dirt just as well. And I guess you might think that I'm a little bit crazy to pile to log on to it all. But hell, it's just money. Let's drink to the memory. And didn't we have us a ball? And didn't we have us a ball? We can now say that we've done it all. Rode tall in the saddle, always made last call. Didn't we have us a ball? And I guess you might think that I've lived a full life. Been crazy, been wild, I've been free. I've been places, seen faces that I won't forget. And I bet that they don't forget me. And Saturday night, spent mostly fighting. I'm proud that I lived through it all. Oh, I got scars and memories that I can take with me. And didn't we have us a ball? And didn't we have us a ball? We can now say that we've done it all. Rode tall in the saddle, always made last call. Didn't we have us a ball? Instrumental. Didn't we have us a ball? We can now say that we've done it all. Just came for first set and always made last call. Didn't we have us a ball? And didn't we have us a ball? We can now say we've done it all. Rode Paul in the saddle, always made last call.
Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentle Irishman, rather odd. He'd a beautiful brogue, so rich and sweet, and a rise in the world he carried a hod. But Tim, he'd sort of a tippling way, with a love for the liquor. Tim was born to help him on his work each day. He'd a drop of the crather every morn. Oh, Aqualadido, dance to your partner, welt the floor, your feathers shake. Wasn't it the truth? I told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. One day when Tim was rather full, his head felt heavy and it made him shake. He fell from a ladder and he broke his skull, and we carried him home, his corpse to wake. We wrapped him up in a nice clean sheet and laid him out upon the bed. Gallon of whiskey at his feet and a barrel of the porter at his head. Oh, Aqualadido, next to your partner, welt the floor, your feathers shake. Wasn't it the truth? I told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. His friends assembled at the wake when Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. First they brought in tea and cake, then pipes, tobacco and whiskey punch. Then Biddy O'Brien began to cry, such a nice clean corpse as you ever see. Tim Ivarvin, why did you die? Ah, hush your gob, says Paddy McGee. Oh, Aqualadido, dance to your partner, welt the floor, your feathers shake. Wasn't it the truth? I told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Then Maggie O'Connor took up the job. Oh, Biddy, she said, you're wrong, I'm sure. Biddy dealt her a belt in the gob and left her sprawling on the floor. And in the ward it soon engaged. 'Twas woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and a hell of a ruction soon began. Oh, Aqualadido, next to your partner, welt the floor, your feathers shake. Wasn't it the truth? I told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Then Mickey Maloney raised his head when a noggin of whiskey flew at him. It missed and fallen on the bed, the liquor scattered over Tim. Timothy's rising, see how he's rising. Timothy's rising from the bed. You whirl my whiskey around like blazes, you son of a bitch, do you think I'm dead? Hey, whack, well-a-die-do, dance to your partner, well, the floor, your collar shake. Wasn't it the truth that told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake? Hey, whack, well-a-die-do, dance to your partner, well, the floor, your collar shake. Wasn't it the truth that told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake? This toast is for the Irish, the men that God made mad, for all their wars are merry, and all their songs are sad. Oh, then tell me, Sean O'Farrell, tell me why you hurry so. Hush up, my boy, and listen, and his cheeks were all aglow. And I bear orders from the captain, get ye ready quick and soon, for the pikes must be together, hey, the rising of the moon. Hey, the rising of the moon, hey, the rising of the moon. The pikes must be together, hey, the rising of the moon. Aye, then tell me, Sean O'Farrell, where the gathering is to be. At the old spot by the river, right well known to you and me. And one more thing for signal token, whistle up a marching tune, with your pike upon your shoulder, hey, the rising of the moon. Hey, the rising of the moon, hey, the rising of the moon, with your pike upon your shoulder, hey, the rising of the moon. Aye, in many a poor wall cabin eyes were watching through the night. Many a manly heart was throbbing for the coming morning light. And rumour ran along the valley like a banshee's mournful croon, and 1,000 pikes were flashing by the rising of the moon. Hey, the rising of the moon, hey, the rising of the moon, and 1,000 pikes were flashing by the rising of the moon. Singing river, that dark mass of men were seen, and above their shining weapons hung their own immortal green. And death to every foe and traitor, forward strike the marching tune, and hurrah, me boys, for freedom till the rising of the moon. Till the rising of the moon, till the rising of the moon, and hurrah, me boys, for freedom till the rising of the moon.
I took this ring off of Viet Cong in the springtime of my childhood, and I could see his eyes and I shot him dead. Back then, you know, it felt good. Well, I'm putting this ring in the crack of the wall 'cause I no longer need it. Hate is a monster that's always hungry, and I ain't gonna feed it. I've been carrying this ring for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. It's been a long time arriving, but it's finally come around. After one long year in the field of stone, 18 more on the ground. I've been carrying this ring for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. It's too easy to say you wouldn't listen when I felt the need to talk. It's too easy to say you wouldn't help when all I could do was walk down to the corner bar and pretend I could forget. And all you could call me was baby killer. I got tired of names like that. I've been carrying this hate for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. It's been a long time arriving, but it's finally come around. After one long year in a field of stone, 18 more on the ground. I've been carrying this hate for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. And this wall that honors my brothers, the black, the white, the brown, we're all just human beings, now how can you put us down? Ain't it time for pulling together instead of calling names? 'Cause it ain't no time for hatred and it ain't no time for games. I've been carrying this weight for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. It's been a long time arriving, but it's finally come around. After one long year in a field of stone and 18 more on the ground, I've been carrying this weight for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. And I'll bet across the waters, in that land of broken stone, there's a fella just like me who is finally coming home. See him standing in the morning, look what he's got there in his palm. It's a ring he took off a dead GI somewhere in Vietnam. I've been carrying this ring for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. It's been a long time arriving, but it's finally come around. After one long year in a field of stone and 18 more on the ground, I've been carrying this ring for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. I've been carrying this hate for 18 years, it's time to lay it down. I've been carrying this weight for 18 years. It's time. I've been carrying this ring for 18 years.
Ay, Jalisco, 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 tú tienes su novia, que es Guadalajara. Muchacha bonita, la perla más rara de todo Jalisco es mi Guadalajara. Y me gusta escuchar los mariachis cantar con el alma tus lindos canciones. Oír cómo suenen esos guitarrones, echarme un tequila con los valentones. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Holy, holy, Jalisco, no te rajes, me sale el alma. Gritar con calor, abrir todo el pecho pa' echar este grito, que lindo es Jalisco, palabra de honor. Abrir todo el pecho pa' echar este grito, que lindo es Jalisco, palabra de honor.
The holding pen. Some folks say it's dangerous just getting out of bed.
You can fall down in the shower and maybe bust your head. Old age will finish some of us. I've often heard that said. There's many things can happen, including stopping lead. There's lots of things in life I've learned and lots that I've forgot. But if I can't get it with a broomstick, friend, it just won't get got. Lefty was a friend of mine, worked in a cotton gin. Lots of saws and cottonseed, just dangerous as sin. His right hand is okay, what's 2 fingers more or less. It's been that way ever since the day the ginner dropped the press. He reached under for loose bagging, thinking he was fast and hot. So if I can't get it with a broomstick, friend, it just won't get got. Now, I don't have to jump from high to learn it hurts to fall. A crossfire horse and a splintered board will keep me from a stall. Some things balance nicely, some things are out of plumb. Don't never hit on 17 is a real good rule of thumb. It happened to a friend of mine, one twilight in that pen. That day I damn near lost him. In truth, he was my kin. We were loading real bad Brahma bulls, 2,000 pounds of mean. We'd worked all day in heat and dust. Our senses weren't that keen. With the last bull in the trailer, he reached across to latch the door. In that one brief second, I went cold down to the core. Like lightning, the door slammed open. Like thunder, it did peal. His skull was caught between that door and a gate of steel. It was then he went down kicking like a buck that's been headshot. So if I can't get it with a broomstick, friend, it just won't get got. A normal man that's hit that hard would have simply up and died. But this was not a normal man. You see, my friends, I lied. He's alive and well this very day, as healthy as a lad. He was much more than kith and kin. That man was my dad. There's stories that end happily. There's stories that do not. So if I can't get it with a broomstick, friend, it just ain't a-gonna get got. Too old to wrangle or to ride on the swing. You bang the triangle and you cuss everything. If dirt was a kingdom, you'd be the king on the goodnight trail, on the loving trail. The old man is lonesome tonight. Your French harp moans like a young bawling calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. With your snake oil, your herbs, and your liniments too, you can do anything that a doctor can do, except find a cure for your own gall-darn stew on the goodnight trail, on the loving trail. The old man is lonesome tonight. His French harp moans like a young bawling calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. Well, the campfire's out and the coffee's all gone. The boys are all up and we're raising the dawn. And still you sit there, lost in your song on the goodnight trail, on the loving trail. The old man is lonesome tonight. His French harp moans like a young bawling calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. And I know that someday I will be just the same, wearing an apron instead of a name. And no one can help it, no one's to blame, on the goodnight trail, on the loving trail. The old man is lonesome tonight. His French harp moans like a young bawling calf.
It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. From all of us, personal. You can tell them folks in Dallas that we're doing well, because here we are up on this ranch, just cultured all to hell. I don't envy them their lives, and they sure don't envy mine. I've had bright lights, cars, and wives, and I have towed the line. Our skyline is the Milky Way, our freeway trod by cows. So upon this piece of land I'll stay as long as God allows. Just like the gears upon a truck, Cookie calls it role reversal, but I attribute it to luck. Life ain't no dress rehearsal.
And deep within my heart there's a melody, a song of old San Antone, where in dreams I live with a memory, beneath the stars all alone. It was there that I knew, beside the Alamo, enchantment as strange as the stars up above, a moonlit path that only she would know, still hears my broken song of love. And moon in all your splendor knows only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antone, lips so sweet and tender like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my own. Broken song, empty words I know, still live in my heart all alone. And that moonlit path by the Alamo, and rose, my rose of San Antone. Moon in all your splendor knows only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antone, lips so sweet and tender like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my own. Broken song, empty words I know, still live in my heart all alone. And that moonlit path by the Alamo, and rose, my rose of San Antone.
Crossed the broad Pecos, we forded the Nueces, swung the Guadalupe, we followed the Brazos, Red River and Rusty, the Wichita Clear. Down by the Brazos I courted my dear. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Many's the river that waters the land. Sweet Angelina runs glossy and gliding, crooked Colorado and weaving, winding the slow San Antonio courses the plain, but I never will walk with my sweetheart again. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand.
She hugged me, she kissed me, she called me her dandy. Trinity's muddy, the Brazos quicksandy. She hugged me, she kissed me, she called me her own. Down by the Brazos she left me alone. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me her hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me her hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Beneath the river that waters the land. Girls of Little River, they're plump and they're pretty. Sabine and the Sulphur have many a beauty. And down by the Neches, girls by the score, but I never will walk by the Brazos no more. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Beneath the river that waters the land. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Ay-la-li-li-li, give me your hand. Beneath the river that waters the land.
They repossessed my car. I said I'd get it back again. Fight them finance people till the end. So here's my delinquent payment, and I'll give you some to boot. Now give me back my car and take my loot. They said, I think you're just a little bit late. We can't sit around while you procrastinate. We done auctioned off your car. That's the way we are. Sorry, you're a little too late. So then I had to catch the city bus to get to work on time. I missed the one at 8. I had to catch the one at 9. And I finally got to work about 10:15. I went to tell the foreman where I'd been. He said, I think you're just a little bit late. We hired another man to take your place. We don't want to make you sore, but we can't use you anymore. Sorry, you're a little too late. So then my wife packed up and left. I said, she can't do that to me. I guess we'll have to show her what a lover I can be. So I bought a dozen roses. I said, baby, please come home. Your lover boy can't stand it here alone. She said, I think you're just a little bit late. I've gone out and found myself another mate. He is handsomer than you. He has a car. He's working too. Sorry, you're a little too late. So then after the divorce, I ended up without a dime, and you can see that I was forced to lead a life of sin and crime. And I gambled, and I plundered, and I smoked and cursed and drank, and I even tried to rob the local bank. They said, I think you're just a little bit late. There's nothing in our vaults to take. You are the second crook today. The other robber got away. Sorry, you're a little too late. So now the time I've spent in jail has made me see that I was wrong, and I've decided to repent and take it easy from now on. So when I climb those golden stairs on Judgment Day, the man will probably look at me and say, well, now, I think you're just a little bit late. We're all full up right now. You'll have to wait. Why don't you go on down below? If something breaks, we'll let you know. Sorry, you're a little too late.
Maria Consuela Arroyo was born and was raised on the south side of town. eyes holding midnight, the face of an angel come down. She grew like a rose without thorns. At 15 she married, at 16 her first child was born. And time is a lover, plant her in ripeness to harvest your dreams. Yes, time is the river that sweeps us along in its stream. Brings souls together, then forces them surely apart. And there's no wrinkled crone in her dry skin and bone who is not a young girl in her heart. Maria Consuela Arroyo, she bore 7 more on the south side of town. And her love for her family like soft rain came whispering down. Like flowers in a garden they flourished in beauty and grace, with their eyes like dark mirrors reflecting the love in her face. And time is a traitor. Yes, time is the villain who stalks on our stage, the bringer of heartache, the bringer of wrinkles and age. Brings souls together, then forces them cruelly apart. And there's no wrinkled crone in her dry skin and bone who is not a young girl in her heart. Maria Consuela Arroyo, her man fell in battle across one dark sea, and her children were scattered like feathers that ride down the breeze. She kneels in the darkness, 9 candles she lights every day. And Padre Alfonso remembers the names when he prays. And time's the black angel, the dark curandera who brings along sleep. Yes, time is the shepherd that's keeping a watch on his sheep. Brings back together the souls that he once tore apart. And he comforts old crones in their dry skin and bone, for he still loves the girl in their heart. And time is a lover, a planter in ripeness who harvests your dreams.
Of the Lakota stain the sky that never ends, for all the slaughtered warriors and the spoiling of the wind. Crazy horse, a spirit that beats within you still, drunk upon your legacy, you dance the proud Black Hills. Hey, 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 hey. The white man tried to tame you, and they put you in a fence. They hunted down the buffalo, and you haven't seen him since. No trail of tears prepared you for reservation life. Your spirit is your mistress, a warm and loving wife. Hey, 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 hey. Holy Son, we see you, but we cannot seek the source. The elders talk of spirit trails that leads to Spotted Horse. Coyote paints the northern sky, Comanche on the south. Now you sing along with Shaman's drum, pass it on by mouth. Hey, 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 hey. The Wasishu now are listening, and some try to understand. They come to seek new wisdom that is older than the land. They watch the sacred spirit dance for water, sky, and wind. As you dance upon the wounded earth, your time has come again. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Come the word from Texas, Goliad and Alamo, Travis, Bowie, Crockett, and the fight with Mexico. The shock and there was sympathy from our neighbors to the north. They read the bloody headlines as the story issued forth, and from the folks in Cincinnati came 1,000 pounds of steel, a pair of 4-pound cannon to help in the ordeal. It took 18 minutes to avenge the fallen Texans' blood as the caissons of twin sisters advanced through Texas mud. When those sisters roared in unison, there was nothing left to say. Soldados were a-falling half a mile away, and the men of Santa Ana were no match for the campaign of a handful of Texas soldiers and a couple of feisty dames. The story didn't end there on the San Jacinto fields. The Yankees stole the ladies to melt them in their mills. And as they lay there silent in the boxcars on the tracks, from the railroad yards in Houston, Texans stole the sisters back, and they are buried now in secrecy neath well-defended soil. Silence now their fatty breath and still a great recoil. But if you've a mind to mess with Texas, I'd think twice about it, friend. If those girls are ever needed, we can dig 'em up again. When those sisters roared in unison, there was nothing left to say. Soldados were a-falling half a mile away, and the men of Santa Ana were no match for the campaign of a handful of Texas soldiers and a couple of feisty dames. Yeah, the men of Santa Ana were no match for the campaign of a handful of Texas soldiers and a couple of feisty dames.
So with that in mind, let me hear you sing. It goes, whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. It's Nancy whiskey wherever I go. As you learn it, come on in. I'm a weaver, a Carlton weaver, and I'm a rake and a roving blade. I've got silver in my pockets, I think I'll follow the roving trade. Do it now! Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy. I can hardly hear you. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. Nancy whiskey wherever I go. Are you having trouble with the words? Is that it? It's whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Nancy, a girl's name. You have to be fairly careful about that. One night somebody requested nasty whiskey. It wasn't really what I meant. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. It's Nancy whiskey wherever I go. Let's just go through it one more time to make sure you got it. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, good. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. Nancy whiskey wherever I go. We're gonna do it. I'd like once more to exhort you to really sing it, because one night at the Checkered Flag, many years ago, long ago and far away, I exhorted the audience to sing it like drunken Irishmen, and they did. And we were dancing on the tabletops and pouring whiskey in our ears and just really feeling good. And I got off the set and I went over by the tune-up room door. This fellow walked up to me. This really happened. It's a true life adventure. Fellow walked up to me and said, "Sir, I'll have you know that an Irishman is never drunk. So long as he can cling to a blade of grass to keep from falling off the earth." With that in mind, it goes, whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. You got it. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. Nancy whiskey wherever I go. As I walked out in the Glasgow city, on Nancy whiskey a chance to smell. Walked into the bar, sat down beside her. 7 long years I loved her well. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. It's Nancy whiskey wherever I go. The more I kissed her, the more I loved her. The more I kissed her, the more she smiled. Soon forgot my mother's teaching. Oh, Nancy had me so beguiled. Softly now. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. A little more than that. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey, and it's Nancy whiskey where I go. Beautiful. Come all ye weavers, your Carlton weavers. Come all ye weavers, where you be. Please take heed of Nancy whiskey. She'll run you like she runned me. Last verse! Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh, whiskey is the devil and the devil is Nancy. Nancy whiskey wherever I go. Nancy whiskey wherever I go. Thank you. It's a song that I learned because
It's about a saint, St. Francis of Assisi. That may sound kind of funny, but when you're raised in the Methodist Church in Raymondville, Texas, you're a little short on saints when you're a kid. You know, we didn't have that many. And it wasn't until I became a grown man that I learned about, St. Christopher, the patron saint of travelers. St. Genesius, the patron saint of artists and writers and actors and folk singers and people like that. St. Jude, who seemed very apropos for me, the patron saint of lost causes. And St. Francis. St. Francis was one of the first people that ever had the attitude that any preacher that had more than 2 suits was a hypocrite. And that didn't go over too well in his day because the church was set up to make money, friends. They were pulling it in. They were building cathedrals and monstrous cathedrals and had purple robes and gold crucifixes and swinging incense, just all sorts of things. And they didn't mess with the tithe back then. They were pulling down 50% of the gross national product. And St. Francis had the temerity to walk up to him and said, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I read the book. And it seemed to me that the Lord meant for us to take care of all the animals and all the little children and even people that don't have money." I said, "The guy's crazy as a peach orchard boar." Lock him up, man. What can a bird leave in the collection plate? Well, that wouldn't be more welcome in the garden. So St. Francis hid himself in the papal gardens, and one day the Pope was walking along there. Out hops St. Francis, wearing the equivalent of blue jeans back then, grinning like a possum eating yellow jackets, and laid the rap on him, you know. And the Pope said, "Good idea, son. I'll check with higher authority and be back with you later." And he did. And St. Francis got to preach. And that really made his contemporaries mad, because it seemed that people would rather come out and listen to him preach on a hillside than go into all the big cathedrals with all the gold crucifixes and purple robes and swinging incense. The song's not just about him, it's about anybody that feels that way about it. Because he called the forest brother, because he called the earth his mother, they drove him out into the rain. And some people even tried to say that the boy from the country was insane, because he spoke with the fish in the creek. And he tried to tell us that the animals could speak. Who knows? Perhaps they do. And say, how do you know they don't? Just because they've never spoken to you. Boy from the country, he left his home when he was young. Boy from the country, he loved the sun. And he tried to tell us that we should love the land. You know, we turned our heads and laughed. You see, we did not understand. For many have forgotten what the life of a country boy reveals. That one single blade of grass is far more important than a field. Boy from the country, he left his home when he was young. Boy from the country, he loved the sun. Boy from the country, he loved the sun.
Here's a song just about everybody can sing along with. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. And as I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I saw below me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. And this land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. A fellow named Woody Guthrie wrote that song. Woody always felt like any song could be changed to fit however you're feeling at the time, except maybe the one that was written by Francis Scott Key. That's our national anthem. So he changed his own song now and then. Sometimes he'd do things like, as I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw a sign, it said no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. And that side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Oh, I am excellent, and I am wonderful. Woo, oh, I'm marvelous, and I am fantastic. I'm extraordinary, and I am superb, because God simply does not make junk. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land, now you should have some harmony going on it. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.